few years ago we were looking at could we do modelling a little bit differently. You know, with the advent of IoT, the low-cost sensors, everything else, could we just go and put hundreds of sensors in a network and figure out what's going on rather than build a traditional model? Obviously that's a big leap from where we are today, and so in our discoveries and working with local clients, we found that actually there's a huge amount of data that already exists inside the SCADA systems. So maybe the first place you start is say, let's take all your SCADA data. Let's not look at this in the way engineers used to look at it. Let's bring in some data science skills. Let's not just take a snippet or 1 week of data or 2 weeks worth of data. Let's take all of it. Let's take all of the SCADA data, combine it with all the tidal data and all of the rainfall data and see what it's telling us. I think we're starting to see some great insights, things that when you just look at small snippets of data, you don't see the whole thing. When you start looking at the whole lot, you can see the influence of the tide, you can see the influence of the rain, you can see the water that's entering the system, you can see the water that's leaving the system.
My aim is to try and measure the improvements that we make, so if we do replace a main or do some work on a catchment, we can actually say how much improvement we've had. So that's where I'm heading, and David's new toy will actually help us gauge that. We'll get some idea of what our value for money is for doing repairs in catchments.
What it will also mean is that data can be used to prove that the solutions that the council are putting in place actually work. You know, so a lot of the time we go and try and find these problems, we then come up with a solution, then we run away very quickly before we prove that they've been successful or not. But now actually there's no hiding. We'll actually see, well, did that work, and if it didn't, what else do we need to do?
The good thing is that with the reports we're doing, one builds on the other, and then of course later on, if we come back after doing repairs in a catchment, we can then build on that same model to get an idea of what effect we've had on the catchment. So that's the sort of thing I'm looking forward to in the future. So at this stage I'm still at the birthing point, so to speak, and I'm just looking at what's actually happening in the catchments and which pump stations are the worst.
You know, I've been doing this for 30 odd years and I've never seen it look as clear as we're seeing today. And it's not about putting lots of expensive devices in the network. It's saying, actually, you're collecting this data already and we're just processing it in a different way.